Another beautiful day in the city of Cleveland, Ohio. Interleague play continues. Game 2 of this three-game set between the Rockies and the Cleveland Indians. And welcome to Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, Chamber of Commerce Day. Rockies fell last night 5-2, looking to bounce back this afternoon. And good afternoon, everybody. Hi once again. Glad you're along with us. With Jeff Houston, I'm Drew Goodman. Well, scoring on the road has become problematic for the Rockies in the month of May. You go back to April, and they were solid on the road. The magic number, Huey, seems to be 4.
Yeah, 4 runs a game, and less strikeouts during the month of March and April. So you look at those numbers. They were 8 and 9 during those first month and a half. And then in May, everything kind of tailed off. They're 4 and 10 on the road this month, but the strikeouts, that's a big number for me. Almost a strikeout a game, and that translates to the lower batting average. And it's not just one person. It just seems like when you're struggling, it's a team struggle. And right now, last night there was 15 strikeouts, 7 of them were looking, and you wonder why that happens. Last night it was a good pitcher, Corey Kluber, really good pitcher. But there's also the at-bats sometimes where you're coming away a little bit empty-handed.
Yeah, no question. Corey Kluber was on his game last night. The Rockies did have a brief lead thanks to Carlos Gonzalez, his first home run in 3 weeks last night. Actually, a little bit more than 3 weeks. That was great to see.
Well, it was good because Cargo has had really an up-and-down season. He's had a couple 10-game hitting streaks, but also there's been times where it just hasn't fell into sync for him. But last night, after that first at-bat, he took a walk. I thought the second at-bat, he really stayed within himself. It wasn't a wild swing. And I know he's been dealing with a ton of injuries this year. You have the finger, you have the knee tendonitis. All of that will make you pause and not get you in that comfortable position that you like to be as a hitter.
The pitching matchup this afternoon, lefty Franklin Morales for the Rockies, young right-hander Trevor Bauer going for Cleveland. It's Colorado and Cleveland. Come on back to Progressive Field with us. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Amazing afternoon in Cleveland, Ohio. The wind blowing a little bit more, though, than it did last night. And it's blowing in from left field. So at least as of right now, based on what we saw during batting practice, it would take a prodigious shot to hit it out this afternoon. Charlie Blackmon's going to lead things off for the Rockies against Trevor Bauer. Take a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Walt Weiss. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Michael Kadire back in that 2 spot. Notice where he's playing, third base. Then Cargo with his first hit on the road trip last night, the 2-run bomb we just showed you. Tulowitzki, Morneau, 4 and 5. Drew Stubbs starting in center field against his club from a year ago. Corey Dickerson will be the DH once again. Willeen Rosario 8, DJ LeMahieu 9th against Trevor Bauer, the young and gifted right-hander, originally with the Arizona Diamondbacks organization.
3rd overall pick for Arizona that year in the draft out of UCLA.
He's got a big arm, and the first pitch is in there at 93 for a strike. He goes through a long process to get ready to pitch. He's a guy that long tosses, and a lot of guys long toss. That's part of, I think, every player's regime. But check out some of his preparation. I mean, it takes him the better part of an hour to get ready, and then when he long tosses, I mean, he long tosses.
I saw him do this at Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha when he was pitching for UCLA.
This is up the middle, and a nice play out at first base. That's Mike Aviles getting the start at second base, and Charlie Blackmon kind of looking out in the infield right now saying, come on, man, that was a hit.
Jason Kipnis played last night at second base. Aviles, he ranges far to his right, and it helps with Aguilar's stretch at first base because he stretches all the way out there, almost does the splits.
He really did. Wow.
I mean, if he doesn't stretch that far, Charlie's safe with the base hit.
There's so many little things that help there. The stretch, and also that last hop came up.
Yeah, if it stays down, he's going to have to throw from a lower angle, and that angle is not going to produce the speed on the baseball that he needs to get it there in time.
We say this all the time. You would desire to get off to a quick start in any ball game, but the way the Rockies have struggled on the road, I think it is absolutely paramount today early. They throw up not just a run's nice, but find a way to a crooked number today, because that's what this club needs more than anything. 2
reasons. One, you have a youngster out on the mound, Trevor Bauer, but you also give Franklin Morales a little breathing room when he steps out onto the plate or out onto the mound. Let him settle into a nice little routine. Put the pressure back on the Indians.
And this is slowly hit to shortstop. Cabrera's there, 2 outs. Take a look at the Inova numbers on the 23-year-old right-hander. It's brought to you by Inova Cancer Care, non-surgical treatment of prostate cancer. InovaCC.com. Visit InovaCC.com.
Well, a lot of strikeouts for Trevor Bauer. 21 strikeouts now in 17 innings after the first 2 outs here. So that's what he likes to do. But he also threw a lot of pitches in his last outing against Baltimore. 105 pitches to get through 4 1/3. Now, he struck out 8 batters, but it took him a lot of work to get to that point.
2 outs. Cargo's back in the 3 spot today, and he takes strike 1. And one of the reasons Walt did that is to split up the lefties. You have Blackmon a lefty, then Cargo a lefty, then Morneau a lefty, and so he goes right, left, right, left. It makes it tougher late in the ball game for a manager to match up. 0-2 the count.
It's always the tinkering with the lineup that it's a cat and mouse between opposing managers. You know, for Walt, he has a right-hander in between the 2 lefties. For Francona, is when do I use the left-handers to try to get one of them out?
And Bauer on 3 pitches strikes out Gonzalez, and another lackluster start for the Rockies offensively. Begin with Michael Bourne, who had a productive night 24 hours ago. He's batting .289 overall, and the lineup for Terry Francona is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. As Drupal Cabrera will bat second, Michael Brantley riding a 15-game hitting streak, the longest active streak going in the big leagues right now. He'll bat third. Ryan Rayburn, he wasn't involved last night. He'll bat cleanup. Yan Gomes moves into the 5 spot. Then David Murphy, Jesus Aguilar, Lonnie Chisenhall moving down the lineup against the lefty Morales and Mike Aviles, the veteran from New York. And let's look at the numbers on Franklin Morales, brought to you by Inova Cancer Care, non-surgical treatment of prostate cancer. Visit InovaCC.com.
Well, trying to put last start out of his mind against Atlanta, where he went 4 2/3, 5 earned runs, and the majority of that came on the 3 home runs that he'd given up. 11 home runs. That's one of the highest numbers in baseball for a starting pitcher. Also, the ERA, 5.65. Trying to get that down, and Franklin. Really, the problem has been is not being able to get to that slider or that split finger that he likes to throw. He's been falling behind the hitters lately.
And Bourne takes a strike. I think he pulled the bat back. I think it was on the pitch that it was a strike. 0-1. Bob Davidson's the home plate umpire this afternoon. Makes his home in Colorado. And it's 0-2. James Hoy, Bill Welke, and John Tumpane round out the crew. There's Bob.
There's John, who walled his first ejection last night.
In the air to shallow left field. Cargo puts out a stop sign for his buddy Drew Stubbs. 1 out. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively, brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. You know the outfield. It's Cargo, Stubbs in center today, and Charlie Blackmon. What's interesting, again, Michael Kadire getting his first start since 2010 at third base. Taking a lot of ground balls there of late, and it allows Walt to get an extra outfield bat in the lineup, and then coupled with the DH, he's got Stubbs and Dickerson going today.
Yeah, and you put Stubbs out here for the big outfield, but for Michael, it's 151 games he's played at third base, so it's not like it's just all foreign territory to him. How has he not played there in a while? You're right. You mentioned it last time in Toronto, July 6th of 2010. But we were in the locker room before the game talking to him and said, what glove are you going to use?
He's using Brandon Barnes' glove.
Well, it's a smaller glove because he didn't have one. So he had to go back to a 12-inch glove, still bigger than what maybe a middle infielder would use. But you need to have that glove that fits your hand at third base.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, having a guy as gifted as Michael Kadire and then as versatile, and I mean, there are guys who play multiple outfield spots. You occasionally see the middle infielder, you know, like Alexi Amaristo, who can run out and play an outfield spot. But this is a corner guy in Michael Kadire, and look where he's played. This ball lined to center field. Stubbs going to have to field it on a hop. A base hit for Cabrera. But, you know, right, first base, third base, second base, really unusual, especially for a guy as big as Michael is.
Well, and a guy that's made the All-Star team. He's been won batting titles, all of that, but he doesn't let it affect him where he plays. He says, well, you need me at third today? That's fine. I can go play second. I can play first. I'll DH, whatever you need. I'm a team player.
And he really means that. Wherever you ask me to go, I'm going to give it my best shot. Now, you may not like what the results are, but I'm going to give it everything I have. So with 1 out, here's Michael Brantley. Not only does he have a 15-game hitting streak overall, he's got a 19-game hitting streak at home, which is a new Progressive Field record. Again, this stadium opened back in 1994. One of the guys who had an 18-gamer here, Kenny Lofton. That's how far back we go. Pretty good hoop player, too.
Yes, he was at the University of Arizona.
The U of A. Where you almost matriculated.
Well, yes.
You did for like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and I changed my mind. Now, I'm going to go try and play this game of baseball. Worked out okay.
It worked out really well, and it's a great story. I haven't told it in a while, but you went down there and you called your dad, right?
Yeah, I just had gone down there and I had a check in my hand ready to just become a regular student. And my dad, before I left, said, "Yeah, might want to think about this when you get down there, try to walk on somewhere." So I got back in the car, drove home, we handed the check to my dad and said, "I'm going to go try to walk on."
Went to Glendale.
I went to Glendale, and as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah, worked out really well. That turned out to be a good decision, Huey.
I listened to my dad for once.
Right? 1 and 2. Good pitch from Frankie. See if you can take that slider again in that same location.
Well, that's the difference when you're ahead in the count 1-2. You can take those sliders and you can start them on the outside third and work them off the plate. Try to come inside, tie him up with the fastball.
And it's boxed. And moving up is Cabrera. He does not look good running at all.
No.
That looked ugly, him moving up. And I think that'll be a pass ball because that was airborne and somehow it popped out of the glove.
How far away it was, and that's where does that wrist still affect Willeen having to turn it over and flip it so much? But still, Franklin, it might go as a pass ball, but Franklin missed his location by 2.5 feet. And it is a pass ball. But that's really one of those unfair ones. Yeah, I know it hit his glove. I get that. But where he had set up and where the ball was thrown from 60 feet away, that's tough to react on the fastball.
Brantley fouls it off out of play. Just the second pass ball this year on Willeen Rosario. We've talked about how he's really improved. How quiet he is behind the plate, his blocking better than it's ever been, and a couple of years ago he set a club record by a ton with 21 pass balls. Cut it in half basically last year, and now he's got just 2. But the key is to put the inning down. Rockies fell behind early yesterday to Cleveland, and that misses. That's the thing with Frankie. Sound like a broken record. It's all about fastball command, but when he takes pitches and throws to the edges, they can't be 2.5 foot net misses that you just described.
Because the hitter sees it immediately out of the hand. You're trained so much in ball and strike and where's my strike zone that it doesn't even register as a strike out of the hand.
Ground ball to Morneau, and a good flip to Franklin, and he turns and checks on Cabrera at third. So they're 2 gone, and that'll bring up the veteran Ryan Rayburn. If you're wondering where Jason Kipnis is, you know, he's just 3 days removed from the disabled list, which he missed the better part of a month with an oblique injury. And Terry Francona said before yesterday's game he's going to give him Saturday off.
Well, it helps when you have a Rayburn who hits right-handed, can face Franklin. Kipnis, a left-handed hitter. Not that that bothers him, but it's just an opportunity for him to have the day off. He'll play tomorrow. It's a day game, and he'll have another 24 hours before they go to play on Monday.
Inside ball 1 on Rayburn. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Slowly hit. Franklin stabs it, and good throw over. So the pass ball does not hurt. Morales does a nice job in inning number 1. We'll go to the second. No score in Cleveland.
Saturday here where the Tribe play. No score thus far. Troy Tulowitzki is about to lead off for the Rockies, and if you're wondering what kind of a beginning of the year he's having, you know he's having a great one. Let's show you how it ranks in terms of Rockies history. The best first 2 months of the year, that belongs to Todd Helton. Back in 2000, he ended up winning the batting title. Walker in 97, second in the title. Then Galarraga in 93, Walker again in 99. They each won the batting title. Bichette hit 368 in the first 2 months in 95. And here's Tulo stepping to the plate, guys, at 360. Let's hope he can improve on that this, the last day of May. Let's get it back to Drew and Jeff, guys.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. The Rockies have a chance to finish the month of May at 500. It's in there for a strike. Coming into today, the Rockies are 12-13 in May, so W, and they finish at 13-13. Tulowitzki player of the month in April, and he'll be a candidate for player of the month in May.
Well, when you're hitting 360, 37 RBIs, 14 home runs. Get a little competition from Stanton down in Miami.
Oh, what a year he's had. This is Southern California against Northern California right here. Trevor Bauer out of Southern California. UCLA, as Jeff mentioned, he set all kinds of records at UCLA. All-time victories, all-time strikeouts, innings pitched, was a first-team All-American there. When he came out in 2011, he was the 3rd pick in the entire draft.
38-4 for the Bruins.
Amazing. He struck out 203 one year. Think about that in a college season.
Right. That's why he was a Golden Spikes Award winner, National Player of the Year by Baseball America. 460 strikeouts and 373 in a 3rd inning.
Ball and 2 strikes. And that bounces up there. Let's take a look at some of the more notable names from that 2011 Major League Draft. Garrett Cole's done a really good job with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Talk about a guy who throws gas. Anthony Rendon is up with Washington. George Springer's taken off with Houston. UConn product. Jose Fernandez went 14th in that draft. Sonny Gray with Oakland. And this ball is in the air to left center field, and it'll be gloved by Michael Brantley. 1 out in the 2nd, and that'll bring up Justin Morneau. Fans, tweet us your question using the hashtag Toyota Talk, and we'll answer them during the 5th inning. That's Toyota Talk in the 5th inning. There's something else about Trevor Bauer. He's from Hart High School in Santa Clarita, California. That's the same high school that's produced Big Game James Shields, who we saw a couple weeks ago. Kevin Millar, who had quite a big league career, and you see him on MLB Network. Bob Walker, and a former Rocky, good player, 3rd baseman, Todd Zeile. All came out of Hart High School. Morneau staves off that. It's 2-0.
As I mentioned earlier, the first time I saw Trevor Bauer was at the College World Series, and watching him throw from foul line to foul line. We were sitting out in the center field stands, and I'd taken a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds over there, played in a tournament like you do.
Yep.
And they were just amazed that somebody could throw a ball that far. And it took him 35, 40 minutes to get ready to even pitch in the game.
Yeah, that's impressive. The most impressive long toss I've ever witnessed, a former Rocky, Jose Mesa. Jose Mesa throw it from the 3rd base foul line into the bullpens.
Remember, he used to also bring a softball so he could spread that between his fingers.
This ball high and deep, and now turning foul.
Boy, did that wind never catch that ball.
Knocked it down. Boy.
You talked about it right at the beginning of the broadcast. So wind's coming in off the lake. And once it gets above towards the 3rd deck, it'll really knock the ball down. So it's coming in at 18 miles an hour. It feels like it's stronger than that.
Three and 2 the count. Morneau was 1 for 3 last night. And this ball's pretty well hit to right.
Well, that turned Murphy around about 3 different directions.
I said it earlier, it's going to take a cannon to get it out of here this afternoon. 2 gone. Let's take a look at the Indians defense, brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Brantley, Bourne, and Murphy in the outfield. Chisenhall with 8 errors. Cabrera's got 8 errors. Mike Aviles and Jesus Aguilar on the right side. Yan Gomes is behind the plate. He's got a slew of errors. We discussed this yesterday. No team in baseball has made more errors than the Cleveland Indians. And their infield has made a ridiculous amount of errors. They're in the mid-40s, 12 more than any other infield in baseball. They were clean last night, though.
Yes, they were. The 3rd baseman have 16 combined.
Crazy. 1 ball, 1 strike on Drew Stubbs, who spent last season in an Indians uniform. I like the move today by Walt to get Stubbs involved. Drew's had a really good year. He's hitting .330. 3 home runs.
Well, it's part of Walt's plan to make sure guys don't sit too long on the bench, and then you ask them to pinch hit or come in late, and it's tough when you don't have the consistent at bats.
Second strikeout for Bauer, and he has retired the side in order in each of the first 2 innings. Second inning, no score. Trevor Bauer for Cleveland and Franklin Morales for the Rockies. Subaru brings you the manager's challenge. If there's a questionable call, instant replay will be used to determine the outcome. It's brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Terry Francona, very, very successful manager. Think of Boston, how long they'd gone without a world championship. Well, he captured one in '04, and again, as we all know, in 2007. He has 9 straight seasons standing atop the bench where his club has finished better than 500. Last year he turned around Cleveland. They went 92-70. You know what's interesting? Last year, fairly early in the season, but you know, into May, Cleveland was 6 games under 500. They were 13-19 at one point last year, and they end up 22 games over 500. They earn a wild card spot, and they lose a good game against Tampa, 1-0. And that's going to be a base hit for Gomes.
The 10-game winning streak at the end of the seasons that propelled them into the playoffs. But he's just Terry Francona is one of 2 active managers right now to have multiple World Series. The other is Bruce Bochy with San Francisco.
Well, there's 23 managers, Huey, all time that have won a couple of world championships. 15 are in the Hall of Fame. Terry Francona also the distinction of managing a Birmingham Barons club in AA that included one Michael Jordan back a few years ago. Pulled past a diving Justin Morneau by Murphy, and this is going to be 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Back-to-back singles, Gomes and Murphy.
Well, with Yan Gomes at first base and a left-handed hitter, you want to try to get out to maybe about this area when you come off the bag if you're Justin Morneau. But he gets out there, but it's still just hit too far past him because you can only come off the bag maybe 2 strides before you have to square up again and be ready for the ball to cross the plate. You know, if nobody's at first, Justin has that in his hip pocket. It's an easy flip and it's an out. That's why when you're holding that runner, that's the left-handed hitters are always looking to try to hook that ball in the hole.
Jesus Aguilar, who was robbed of extra bases last night on a wonderful catch by Charlie Blackmon in deep center field. Michael Kadire told us before the ball game he thought, speaking of how big this park can play, he thought that ball off the bat was out. You know, Michael was in right field last night. It's inside. Rockies will trade a run for a couple of outs if Morales can induce a ball on the ground. Frankie is more of a fly ball pitcher, especially in comparison to the other guys in the rotation for the Rockies.
And if that wind holds it up where the outfielders that come in towards home plate with Gomes at third, you would hold him there.
And this is going to be a move up again, and once again Willeen Rosario having trouble handling Franklin Morales. That's it's one thing for balls in the dirt. That's two balls that kind of popped out of the glove of Willeen Rosario. Now you don't have an opportunity for a double play. They're two in scoring position.
Yeah, and Murphy goes to second base, and it's a second pass ball for Willeen. But you see how he took the thumb and he pushed it down instead of having it up into the air. So he turns the thumb down and pushes the ball away from him.
It's just bad baseball. I mean, you just can't afford to do that.
Not when you're struggling to score runs too out on the road in this road trip.
Second and third, nobody out, and a 2-1 count on Aguilar.
Well, and it changes Aguilar's approach now with runners at second and third. He's looking for a ground ball to the right side. Get that run in and move another runner into scoring position.
He's a big, strong guy down in Columbus who's hitting a lot of home runs. I'm impressed the flexibility he had at first. That stretch where he did the splits. 2-2.
Smart call from Willeen to play into the aggressiveness of a young hitter. Set up for it, down, turns the glove over, blocks it. Exactly what you want. Come back with it again.
And he got him. Big strikeout.
He went right back to the same pitch.
You got a chance right now with the left-handed hitter Chisenhall. You can get another punch out to get out of this thing.
The last two pitches from Franklin, he did not overthrow. He just put it where he wanted to, and Aguilar swings over the top. With Chisenhall, left-on-left matchup, you play the infield in with one out.
Chisenhall's had a really good year. He's hitting .362. There's Jeff mentioned, you can see the defense with the infield in, and it's pulled through the hole. That'll drive in one. Blackmon up with the baseball, and they're going to stop David Murphy at third. So Lonnie Chisenhall comes through again for Cleveland, and it's 1-0. He didn't waste any time, did he?
No. 2 out of the 3 hits have been by left-handers this inning. They didn't waste the time getting that pitch that he wanted to get with the infield in. That's up to Charlie Blackmon and right to hold the runner at third, and that's what Mike Sarbaugh did. He waited and waited and waited and held David Murphy.
Side on Mike Aviles. A nice play in the first inning, taking a hit from Charlie Blackmon. And this ball's well hit to left field. Carr goes back there, and it's gone. 3-run home run for Mike Aviles, his third of the year, and Cleveland leads it 4-0. to Franklin Morales. That's the 12th he's given up this year.
And 10th by a right-handed hitter. And with the wind blowing in from right, that's the area that the ball will still travel. It's to left field down the line more because the wind won't affect it. That's inside, belt high. Easy for you to clear your hips, open up. And Aviles knew it. He was just watching Cargo.
Now Cargo's trying to do the old Larry Walker deke because of the big wall, hoping it hit the wall and he could keep the runner from first from scoring. It's a good ploy by Cargo. He's not going to jump up and catch it.
Well, it's a 19-foot high wall, so that's your place that you're looking to do one of those plays.
Back live, Bourne flies out to very deep left center field, caught out there by Stubbs. 2 gone, and that'll bring up Cabrera, who's single. Well, the Rockies already down 4-0 in the second inning. Morales has allowed 5 hits. And you want another ugly stat since we're on ugly stats? When Cleveland scores 4 runs or more at home, they're 14-1 this year.
And they had been struggling against left-handed pitching. That had been their Achilles heel.
Here's the 1-0, and that's pulled foul. Cabrera with 14 home runs last year was second in the American League among shortstops and homers. He drove in 60. That was the 5th best mark among American League shortstops. That's a swing pitch, and I look at a count this way, Jeff. Tell me if you concur. Most important pitch is the first one, get ahead. And then the next most important pitch is that 1-1 pitch, because there's a 185-point delta this year, and it's pretty true every year, between a 2-1 count and a 1-2 count.
Difference between being aggressive or being defensive.
You're talking about a mid-300s batting average versus a batting average well below 200. 3-run home run, 4 on the board for Cleveland. Is brought to you by the Ford F-150. It's not just a truck, it's an F-150, and it's built Ford tough. By Inova Cancer Care, taking a novel approach to cancer care. Learn more about prostate cancer treatment at InovaCC.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online, only at Southwest.com. Lake Erie, which can produce Some memorable snowstorms if you're in Buffalo or Cleveland. Right now, it's a postcard day, picture perfect. Except for the scoreboard if you're a Rockies fan. Rockies trailing 4-0. The DH, Corey Dickerson, against Trevor Bauer, and he gets an off-speed pitch. He's out in front, and it's 0-1. Bauer has faced 6. He's retired 6. He has struck out 2. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout is with us, and Ryan Spilborghs is going to join us upstairs here. In fact, we're getting him in his high chair as we speak.
Yeah, sitting on my high horse. It's a high horse.
Oh, yeah.
I fed him carrots before I came up here.
Well, this is another rough beginning, and Franklin Morales, who has, to be kind, has been uneven as a starter. You love how hard he competes, but he's been a fly ball pitcher, and the home runs are killing him.
And it's with the wind blowing pretty hard in. Justin Morneau might have had a big homer already, and that ball Avila's was hit pretty hard.
Slowly hit the short. Dickerson may have a chance to beat this. Nope. Cabrera got rid of it just in time.
Quick release of the hands from Cabrera. He's just not moving the same as he did a couple years ago. No, but the hands are still good.
He's still got great hands. You're right. I mean, I remember watching him play a couple years ago. He was a second baseman when he first got called up, and I loved watching him play. And I remember saying to Tulo, I was like, "Can you imagine if you and Tulo and Asdrubal, being up the middle?" Because at the time, Rockies were still looking for, kind of an answer at second base. And I thought Cabrera would be a great guy that he could play with. But, Indians know what they have.
7 consecutive opening days for Cabrera for the Indians.
He's their longest tenured player. That's that pitch, Spilly, that is giving Willeen Rosario fits. Outer third, moving away, cutter, slider. He really struggles identifying.
He does, and part of it when you watch him is he's coming forward too much. And so when you're struggling with the slider down and away, it means that you're number one, you're committed to hitting a fastball, and you're looking to pull it. When you're trying to drive the ball center field, opposite field, you're looking more out or over the plate. In that slider, you're going to be able to keep that front hip in longer, and you're going to be able to make better contact, or at least be able to recognize it.
And it's just a subtle move too.
It's not a big move. It's something. It's timing.
But this hip just going out just ever so slightly. And that did a better job of keeping it in on that pitch.
Well, as you guys like to say, Hugh, he's staying behind the baseball a little bit.
Yeah, and when your weight starts to transfer before that stride foot lands, that's when you get in trouble.
2-2, and way inside at 96. So you played a little bit with him, and you were spotting Bauer warming up, and I mean it took him the better part of an hour to get ready to make his first pitch.
Yeah, he does some interesting stuff. I saw him in AAA do that before, and you remember things like that. You're like, I don't know what this guy's doing. Why is he doing that? But it's part of a routine. We talk about routine. It's not a ritual, and that's what he feels comfortable. That's what he thinks he needs to do to get ready before the game. You see, he puts on his headphones. He's about to throw the ball 400 feet, and that's after doing this armband workout that took him about 10 minutes. It's pretty impressive to see that.
What's impressive is a guy he's playing catch with.
Back. Like most guys need a relay.
I've seen it before. I've seen him use a relay. I saw that in Reno, where he was at 2 years ago. Thing about Trevor Bauer, he's very analytical. I talked to Jason Giambi before the game. Almost to a fault. Sometimes this guy overthinks it. He might have somebody on the ropes with what he's pitching, and then he'll go. He likes to try to set up hitters. He doesn't cave in. If he believes that a 3-2 changeup's the best pitch to go with, he will throw it. He will not back off.
A case in point, Willeen's the first base runner for the Rockies. The kid's got a 4-0 lead. There's already one out. 3-2. See how far you can hit it. He threw him a cutter.
Right.
On 3-2.
Instead of challenging him with your 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Thank you. And I'm glad he missed with it, but most unusual sequence.
That's where pitchers overthink.
Exactly. I mean, there's a reason. One of the things that I enjoyed about Japan, and if you watch a Japanese baseball game, the pitcher will never shake. They're going to trust what the catcher is going to call. Now, the catcher is going to call some strange stuff over the course of a game, but they will never shake. They'll say, okay, I'll throw whatever you want me to throw.
DJ hits this well to right, and it is going to be off the base of the wall. Willeen got a good look at it, and he moves up, and then the ball gets away, and the Rockies are going to get a run, and moving to third is LeMahieu. So maybe the break that the Rockies needed, a double off the wall by DJ LeMahieu, and then a throwing error, and everybody moves up 90 feet, and the Rockies have a run. It's 4-1. He flipped the lineup over, and Charlie Blackmon coming up. That ball was hit well into the wind.
It kept it below where the wind could have a chance to knock it down. Where Morneau's was a little higher, this stays down lower, and it's a slider that was flat into the zone, and DJ is running hard the whole way. And when that throw comes in, does it clip?
It hits DJ.
It hits DJ, but Rosario keeps going. He's looking. He rounds the bag, running hard the whole way. Slides in and still gets enough.
Yeah,
It's too cold.
That's going to be a tough error on David Murphy, but you have to assign an error there. Here's Charlie. You got to get this run home also. And the infield's back. Cleveland naturally with the 3-run lead will trade a run for an out. So Charlie's got to get it in play. Stay in the middle of the field.
Stay in the middle. You don't need to do anything more than just put the ball in play. And I think over the course of this road trip, what we've seen the Rockies do is they want to try to score more than just one run. You got a runner at third. All you have to do is put the ball in play. I want a big inning. The Rockies want a great big inning, but you cannot tie the game in one swing right here. You got an out to give to get a run.
We were grabbing a bite last night, and you two, you were talking about this. You were making that point. Philosophically, on the road, it has to be a little different than what you're accustomed to at 20th and Blake.
When you're on the road, my philosophy has always been play like you're down one run. So start every inning like you're down one run.
So you're just trying to get that leadoff hitter on base.
You want to get the leadoff guy, and then once he's on base, the guy hitting behind him, he's going to think, I need to get him over, find a way to get him over. So even if the score is 12-1, you're up, or you're down by 5, if you have the philosophy that I'm just down one run, I'm just trying to score one run an inning, the approach as hitters improves instantly. But that's a tough philosophy to buy into, and it's tough to just maintain it over the course of the game.
That'll work. Base hit up the middle for Blackmon, and it's 4-2. Come on down, DJ LeMahieu for Charlie, his 34th run batted in, and that is exactly what you guys are talking about. Huey, he didn't try to do very much there.
No, he just kept his hands inside the bat and the barrel, put it in play. Don't try to make this big wild swing. Stay controlled. That ball was in on him, but just enough that, hey, I'm going to fight it off and flare it into center field.
And he looked for a pitch up. One of my prime example for this whole road trip is the Carlos Gonzalez at bat, the pinch hit at bat in the 8th inning against the Philadelphia Phillies. He wasn't right. He didn't show me that he had an approach at the plate, and that's the one that I can point to and say, look, you can see it. But right there, you can see Charlie's looking just to get a pitch up in the zone that he can just send the ball out towards the outfield, get that RBI. He got one up, he was patient, and he got the job done.
This ball punched through the right side. Michael Kadire. Blackmon will stop at second as Murphy was quick to the baseball. And the Rockies are doing exactly what they needed to do. They are counter-punching after that 4-run uprising by Cleveland.
And by doing it this way, you narrow the focus. So you're going into the box with a plan in place. So you narrow it. Okay, there's a big hole on the right side if you're Kadire. That was just a punch to right field. It wasn't anything. Watch, he almost stops his swing after he doesn't even make a complete follow-through. It's like a knockdown wedge when you're trying to hit that the shot into the green, but you don't want to take it too hard because you'll take it over the green.
Yeah, to embellish again what we're talking about, we had this discussion off the air earlier this morning. Instead of, the 3-run home run's nice. You always want to play that card if you can.
Yeah.
But more than anything, this club needs a series of hits like they're producing right now here in the 3rd inning.
Now let's see how Carlos does in this situation. If he's going to, right now, the left side of the field is wide open. I was talking to Giambi about it.
Runners take off, and everybody is safe.
Beautiful.
Double steal pulled off by the Rockies. Blackman to third, Kadire to second.
Yeah, so for Charlie, that's his 10th stolen base, and for Michael, his 3rd. And you can do this because of where the third baseman is. You know there's nobody covered. Look at where the third baseman is, way off the line. Nobody's really holding him, and Charlie just takes off, so Yan Gomes doesn't want to try to throw to a moving target. Oh, heads up.
Middle of the field.
So I was talking to Giambi. I was talking to Giambi about hitting into a shift. I said, what's your approach? Do you try to hit the ball the other way, or do you know, because when you're pitching to a shift, you have to throw inside. Right now, he's going to get pounded in. He's going to get fastballs in, sliders down and in, because they want you to hit into that shift. The shift now would be great. Hit a ground ball to the second baseman in right field. You don't need a 3-run homer. Again, we're getting a run with an out. So 2-strike approach right here. Put the ball in play. You know you're going to probably get an off-speed pitch in or a fastball in, something that'll get you to roll it over.
Yeah, and that's the key. Obviously, Cargo, will strike out more than any other Rocky in the everyday lineup. He's got to find a way to battle here against a guy with great stuff. 2-strike count for Bauer. Well, this is one of the reasons you see the shift against Cargo. The majority of his hits are either straight away or to the right side, just 7 to left field.
So you can move that shortstop over, because even if it goes to the center field, most of the time for Cargo, it's going to be in the air. If it's to the right field, it's either in the air or it will be a pole down on the ground.
Again, they come inside, and he fouls it off his foot. Base hit here will tie up the game in all likelihood.
And that's how he's going to pitch to this shift. He's going to throw that hard fastball in. And now he's probably going to go off the plate, soft away to get him to hook it. Again, if I'm a hitter in this situation, I have no problem getting jammed by a fastball. I just want the ball in play. I'm not looking to get my barrel out because I'm protecting against everything. I'm protecting against the off speed that potentially is going to be away from me.
Anywhere but back to the pitcher. I mean, with the way the infield is, that's why you can afford to be jammed.
Been repeated by a lot of hitting coaches through the years. Good hitters get jammed because they're not afraid to let the ball travel.
When they do that, you don't jump to the pitcher. You don't chase ground to him.
And when I say that, it's on occasion.
Yes.
Obviously, you can't have a steady diet against sawed off.
But it's not easy. Hitting's not easy. When the guys are in scoring position, the pitcher doesn't make it any easier. He's going to go to what he feels he can strike you out with.
1-2. Did he hold up? No swing.
Well, it takes some strong wrist to hold up. When you have as big a bat as Carlos Gonzalez.
Especially he's a long swing guy. I mean, he gets wound up.
I mean, he didn't go, but a lot of body. That will sometimes fool the umpire because of how much body went forward, where they just see that and say, oh, yeah, he must have swung.
Cargo's worked it even. It's 2-2. Rockies down 4-2 in the third. 2 already in, 1 out. Blackman at third, Kadire at second. Rockies didn't have a base runner their first 2 innings. Cargo having a good at bat. Bauer reached back, got 97 there.
And this whole inning started with somebody battling with Willian Rosario, fell behind 1-2, and he works the walk.
You know, we discussed that, and who knows what would have happened. I mean, had he thrown him a fastball, he may have missed with it, he may have given up a hit, but he went to his third or fourth best pitch with a 4-run lead with 1 out, and he lost Willeen, and then he hasn't retired anybody since, fortunately. DJ threw out a double off the right field wall. Here's the 2-2 again, and he got it. 2 outs, and it'll bring up Tulowitzki.
Well, on this pitch right here, I'm trying to see what it was. Looks like it's a changeup away. It's just, again, you know, when you're trying to hunt that fastball, you think the fastball is going to be in. You're going to be a little jumpy on pitches like that. It's a good pitch. Good 2-2 pitch. Definitely like to see that ball in play, though.
Tulowitzki hit a fly ball to left center his first time up. Handled out there by Michael Brantley.
Bauer works from the extreme first base side of the rubber. That helps him against the right-handed batters to hit that outside corner.
It's usually guys who do that who have trouble throwing to their glove side.
You just slide over there to help you.
It also creates a little angle. If he doesn't have a lot, you know, like a sinker ball or any run on his fastball, he can create a little angle from that first base side to be able to throw it inside.
Well,
create kind of a different angle coming at the hitter.
But it also, because of where he strides, he's throwing across his body. I mean, because if you look at it, that's where he should be striding, but instead he strides right to that mark right there. So it's throwing across his body, and that'll also create some depth and angles that you're not used to seeing.
Tulo's got a 2-0 count, and it's fouled off, 2-1.
Give Franklin a chance to catch his breath and regroup and hit the reset button. Your offense is giving you at least 2 runs, maybe more.
And this one's fouled off in our direction, 2-2.
It's good to see that the Rockies, you give up 4 in the bottom of the second, and then to come back, you know, that's called a shutdown inning. That's what the Indians were hoping for out of Bauer, where you score 4, shut them down, maybe add on. But when the team, like the Rockies right now, come back and fight back, takes a little bit of momentum away from the Indians ball club. Right now the Rockies have it. So the Rockies feel like they're in control, even though they're losing by 2.
Well, they're back in the game. Yes. Regardless of the outcome of this AB, they're back in the game.
And if I'm Charlie Blackmon at third, I really get a little bit more aggressive with my lead, thinking he's going to spike something down into the dirt.
2-2. He just did, and somehow Gomes was able to block it. And that's not an easy block. Honestly, that takes some good fortune.
Just luck. It's an educated guess of where this ball is going to go, and it hopes it just hits something. Because, I mean, as far out as that went, it could have easily gone over his shoulder.
And this is where Trevor Bauer, talking to Giambi, is going to be willing to throw that pitch again. He will not cave in. He will not go to something. If he believes that that was the right pitch that I threw 2-2, he will throw it again 3-2.
He's got about 7 different pitches. It takes 2 hands.
Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, you don't know what it is that he threw.
He throws a little screwball. Talking to Chris Warren, the Rockies advanced scout. He said, all right, I have a general idea of his arsenal. He goes, well, hold on, take out a pen and a piece of paper. He said, this guy's got more pitches than anybody going. So if you see Yan Gomes drop his glove and use both hands, that's why. 3-2. strike 3. Locked him up. That's exactly what Spilly was talking about. Well, the Rockies get 2, but they leave 2 in scoring position. 4-2 the scores. We go to the bottom of the 3rd.
He's back in this game. They trail by a score of 4-2. Jason Giambi is now with the Indians, and Spielberg's got a chance to talk to him before the game, and he was talking about how the Rockies offered him the managerial job. He interviewed with Dick Monfort, Bill Guyvette, and it made him think like a manager.
It really made me open up that part of, my brain where I thought, wow, if I'm in this position, how would I run it? What would I do? And things like that. And I think that's really even broadened my horizons coming over here, because of that. And I mean, it was such an honor. And Denver always will have a special place in my heart with the fans, with the players, with management. It was really a special time for me.
So he was one of the guys who was in the running for that job, and he did interview with Dick Monfort, Bill Guyvette, and all those involved guys. And tomorrow you'll be able to see that interview with Ryan Spielberg and Jason Giambi. We'll have it on the pregame show before the Rockies play Game 3 of this series.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. I mean, Giambi is as good a guy and as professional a guy as the Rockies have had in uniform. And he was, it's funny, Manny Ramirez, guys, is now a player coach for the Iowa Cubs, right?
Who would have thought that?
Jason Giambi does not have the title, nor did he have that title with the Rockies, but he ostensibly was a player coach.
He was. What was great was a ground ball to second base. DJ's gonna make this one easy. Francona came out of his way the other day and said hello to me, and he said,
which is unusual because people don't really like to say hello to you.
He was like, hey, Giambi was telling me all about you. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I was like, Tito, nice to meet you too. And the way that he's affected that clubhouse down there is evident, not only just from Francona's standpoint, it's from the players. Jason Kipnis says, it's like having my dad out there telling me how to be a better baseball player.
I think for Giambi, too, is he's really a student of the game. I think people don't look at him that way at times. They think of him as this guy that's just going to hit a lot of home runs, and this is who he is.
Big, brawny guy.
Yeah, but he studies the game like no other.
Very, very astute. This is something else that Terry Francona, said about Jason Giambi a little less than a month ago. The reason that I say what I say about him is because he continues to amaze me by his willingness to see past himself, to see the team, which amazes me. When you leave the room after talking with G, even after you ball in the air to right center field, even after you put him on the disabled list, you just feel like a better person.
I'm not sure whenever a manager has said that about having to put a guy on the DL.
I'm sure it's the first time. So Jason Kipnis is their all-star second baseman. He has a day off today. He just got back from pulling his oblique. So Giambi goes up to Kipnis and he says, all right, for the next 4 weeks, you're going to sit with me and we're going to watch baseball. It's the same thing that Nolan Arenado is doing down in that Rockies clubhouse. And now they're starting to watch the game almost from managerial eyes and see, okay, when I talked to Nolan, he was like, man, I've been watching this Rockies team. We have to get better at doing small ball. We have to get better at doing little things. When you get outside of the game and when you get a chance to just take a breath, but you're still part of the clubhouse and watch the game, you see so many more things that you can do better. And Giambi's seen those things as a player, and now in this new role, that's base hit by Yan Gomes. He's 2 for 2 now. It makes you and the guys around you appreciate how to do little things better.
But the whole key to that is watch the game.
Watch the game. You have to watch the game.
2-out single from Yan Gomes, and that'll bring up David Murphy. Frankie can get Murphy here, who singled against him through the right side. Rockies can get back after it again offensively. So important after you put up the number to get a stop sign if you're a pitcher. Get your club back to the bat rack. Rockies trailing 4-2. Morales gave up 4 in the second inning. 3 straight singles and then a 3-run home run from Mike Aviles. Hitting 9th in the order today for Francona. That pitch misses and it's 2-0.
Fans don't miss the action at Coors Field when the Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and Braves come to town June 3rd through the 12th.
Two and 1 on Murphy, a career .340 hitter here in Cleveland. One of the reasons that the Indians signed him as a free agent in the offseason after 7 years in Arlington.
He's actually better hitting 2 strikes. I talked to him about the base hit. He had a double last night. It was like 3 feet off the plate, down and away, and he hit it to right field for a double. He's like, I don't know. For some reason, 2 strikes, I do much better. Well, why wouldn't you hit for 2 strikes to start?
Well, to your point, he's hitting .312, which is 6th best in the American League with 2 strikes. And if you didn't believe me, there is the graphic. 2-2. And that's popped up, maybe playable for Kadire. It'd be his first chance. Come on, Michael dive. What kind of effort's that? Only 6
it is
rows
unusual,
back.
though, for a guy that's playing a so-called new position. Now, he's played it before, but to go out there and not have a ground ball or anything yet within the first 8 or 9 outs.
But the baseball gods, baseball will find you.
It will find you, but it usually finds you the first hitter of the game.
Yeah, the very first one.
2-2 on Murphy. And this is in the air to Blackman and right. Routine play. And Frankie does a good job in the 3rd inning. So the Rockies will get back after it in the 4th, trailing 4-2. Justin Morneau to lead off when we return. 2 as we go to the 4th inning. Justin Morneau, Drew Stubbs, Corey Dickerson to face Trevor Bauer, 23-year-old right-hander. And this ball is going to move off into the seats. Wind's changed direction a little bit. Morneau, I think, to your point, Spilly, would have hit a home run his first at bat if the wind didn't knock it down. He laid into one to deep right field that turned David Murphy around a couple of times, and he made the catch on the track.
Yeah, I wish it would have been a homer. I said usually if it's with this wind right here, it's going to knock it down. But on a normal day, that's in the second deck. There's nothing worse as a hitter, huh, Huey? When you hit a ball, you square it up, and it gets caught. You hear in the dugout, nice swing, out.
Part of my problem my whole career, that wind seemed to be blowing in every time I stepped to the plate.
So unfair. Your warning track power.
Yes, and then it was even shorter after that. Oh boy.
Know who you are.
That's right. That's
know
right.
Who you are.
That's why I worked on the art of bunting.
2-2. You didn't want to get caught in the wrong group. I'm trying to remember who it was. Spring training. This goes back to the High Corbett Tucson days. You know that you guys remember that field way back, Field 5.
Field 5, yeah.
Field 5 that took you.
That's where careers go to die.
You needed a train to get out there. This ball is chopped to second. Easy play for Aviles. Well, anyhow, it's before it was pitchers and catchers still, but everybody was down there, position players. So you guys were all working out on Field 5. And I think it's Ian Stewart, Helton, and Holiday in a group. And I'm trying to remember who the fourth was, but from a pop standpoint, he didn't belong. He needed to hit with the old school middle infielders, yes, if you will.
Maybe like Barmes. Might have been Barmes in that group.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So how did I end up in this group?
That's the worst when you're in spring training. You're going through the groups. I don't want to hit with them.
These guys are too good. Yeah. Give me a group that doesn't hit the ball so far.
I'll work on my hit and runs.
Don't want to hit in the big boy group. Stubbs fouls that off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Terry Francona very complimentary of Drew Stubbs. He managed him last year, and he said he was very popular, very well respected in the clubhouse, and very popular and well respected in the coach's room as well.
That's even saying something when you look at the numbers for Drew last year. He had just 233, on base percentage of 305. Lowest mark his stolen bases was just 17, but he still made a mark because of his dedication, the way he went about his business every day.
Well, he went from being an everyday player with Cincinnati to being in Cleveland, where he's not starting every day. Michael Brantley's starting. He had Michael Bourne. So he had to transition to that non-everyday role, and teams respect that. If you're an everyday player and now you're learning how to be a bench guy, it's a bit of an ego thing. It's swallowing the ego and your pride and playing for the 25 guys, wearing that uniform proudly. It's not for the name on the back, right? It's the one on the front. And Drew's been always that type of guy, even at Texas. I've heard about him for years through Houston Street. Team guy, great talent, and he's doing a nice job for the Rockies.
2 outs. That'll bring up Corey Dickerson. Corey also hit the ball on the ground to Cabrera his first time. This afternoon's Cool Stat is brought to you by Steel T Heating and Air. Never a trip charge with a repair. It's a $69 value. Go to steelt.com. Steel T, the T stands for trust. Average as a DH. Current National League team since Interleague began in '97, and the Rockies are third. The Cardinals hitting .311. This is among National League teams. The Astros, now in the American League, but while they were in the National League, hit a very solid .270. Dickerson, the designated hitter, the last 2 days for the Rockies, and he takes ball 1. They're in a rain delay in St. Louis, Giants and Cardinals, and in the 5th inning, it's 1-0 St. Louis. Oscar Taveras, one of the most heralded prospects in baseball, finally making his debut, and in game number 1 he has hit a home run.
Wasn't he the second highest rated behind Brian Buxton, I think it was, from Minnesota?
He's number 2 behind Byron Buxton, and I think a year or 2 ago he was number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, remember George a couple of years ago telling us when he would watch him in the Texas League, he said this guy's, from a different planet. He can really swing it.
Well, obviously he did that today with the home run.
Yeah, and then it made a rain delay. He hits a home run, the next guy, they pull the tarp.
One and 2 on Corey.
I'm sure the guys are telling Taveras, hey, if we don't get the game in, your homer doesn't count.
He said, oh, come on. Clear up.
Did you ever lose a home run that way?
Yeah. You remember Jeff Francis lost, what was it, 2010? He got rained out in St. Louis and he gave up 7 runs.
Opening day.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have took a hit on his ERA and it got canceled. I think I had 1 or 2 hits by the 2nd inning and I didn't get those either.
Not that you remember.
Not that I cared. Yeah, I didn't need those hits. So it works both ways.
It's funny you mentioned that. I remember that was one of the great mulligans of all time. His ERA went from 7,000 to zip. Good to see Jeff throw a solid ball game a couple weeks back for Cincinnati. He's now on with Oakland. Good AB.
It is amazing watching 74 pitches through almost 4 2/3 for Bauer. Or 3 2/3.
It took him 105 pitches in his last start to go 4 1/3. I mean, he's gonna ratchet up the number of pitches thrown, and that's not including the ones he threw in the bullpen, the long toss that we've already described, everything that the band work before that.
He reminds me of Ubaldo. Ubaldo is very similar. Great stuff. Sometimes just throw a lot of pitches.
Bauer wins that battle as he strikes out Corey Dickerson. His 5th strikeout of the ball game. 4-2 Cleveland, middle of 4. It's First Bank game recap. A reminder, put the 7th inning stretch to good use. Sign up for First Bank's free checking at efirstbank.com. Rockies fell behind 4-0. Mike Aviles, the big blow against Franklin Morales, a 3-run shot in the 2nd inning. But then the Rockies strung together some hits. DJ had a double, scored a run. Charlie Blackmon, a good AB, singling up the middle to drive in a run. And the Rockies trail by 2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. With Jeff Hewson and Ryan Spilborg. Mark Stout along as well. I'm Drew Goodman on a beautiful day in Cleveland. Just a stone's throw from Lake Erie. Leading off in the 4th inning for the Indians will be the 7-hole hitter Jesus Aguilar. He'll be followed by Lonnie Chisenhall and then Mike Aviles. Frankie had a good 3rd inning. He had a solid 1st inning. Didn't limit the damage, though, in inning number 2. That first pitch is in there for a strike. You were talking about Jeff Francis, and it seems like, not all that long ago we were watching Jeff pitch in the World Series and win 17 games, and now he's, latter stages of his career. He's moved on to Oakland, and it reminded me of that great line from the great Vin Scully. It's a mere moment in a man's life between an all-star game and an old-timers game.
But how true.
Yep.
Does go by fast.
And it applies in
there's times
all
I've
walks of life.
and I've told people this too. I wish I would have enjoyed the game while I was playing a little more. But you're so consumed with what's happening in that moment.
It's a base hit to center field. Behind in the count, 1-2. Frankie served up the pitch a little too good to Aguilar. That's a lead single for Jesus. It'll bring up Chisenhall. Well, it reminds me of another quote. Everything's reminding me of quotes today. I don't know if this was borrowed or it originated, and it may have, with Clint Hurdle, who loves a good quote. And Clint, we're talking about, now I'm forgetting his quote. We're talking about Vin Scully and a mere moment, and you're talking about enjoying the game more. He said that's why you try to play the game and not work the game. Much easier said after a career is done than when you're in the midst of it.
Well,
that's why that's why they say let's play ball, let's not work ball.
But it is a job, and it's a wonderful job. But there's so much involved, the day-to-day routines, the eating right, going to bed at the certain times, making sure you do all the little things to get your body, because it is such a physical grind. We talk about in October, literally probably out of all the 750 major leaguers, I'm going to guess 500 of them catch the flu the second they put their guard down in October. It is a mental strain, and it's hard not to, once you're in those walls, all you think about is trying to win. What do I have to do to help the team win? And it's hard to enjoy certain things at times.
That baseball bubble, you get into that and you don't see what's on the outside of the bubble.
There is nothing else.
Remember the relief that Chisenhall just felt there on when that 1-1 pitch becomes 2-1 as opposed to 1-2. Lonnie Chisenhall, he was a first-round pick. Still haven't settled on a spot that he's suitable defensively, but he plays hitter well.
Well, and it helps when you're in the American League when you can play hitter at the DH if need be.
He's one of the better fastball hitters I've ever played with. He's just excellent fastball hitter.
Quick hands.
Ellis Burks.
Now talk about somebody who looks like he could still play.
Yeah, we throw that around, but he legitimately, he does not look any different than he did 15 years ago.
It's just helpful when you have somebody with his wisdom just dispensing some advice around the batting cage.
Well, Frankie with a blow-away fastball. It had some cut on it at 93, and he strikes out Chisenhall. First out in the 4th.
Here's the ball. Morales' ball has been running a lot, especially to that glove side, and right there it just takes off, and Chisenhall has no chance on a ball like that. You can see the ball looks like it's cutting a bit. It's a great pitch.
Almost has that red dot up here of a slider. It's not, but that's what your eyes pick that up.
And that's been the same pitch that Rosario's been having trouble catching today. I mean, it's having some late life right there.
That pitch.
And that's why he had the pass ball earlier. 1-0 on Aviles, who took a fastball deep his last time up.
Now, did he call that a strike?
He did.
Wow.
Well, it's just the way he caught it. Well, a pitch he did not miss was back in the second inning. Over the 19-foot high wall in left field.
And Aviles pops it up, middle of the diamond. Frankie's saying, I'm going to catch it. And the first chance for Michael Kadire. A gold glove play.
Well, and probably the best chance because it was in the air.
I almost wrote F9 right there.
Oh, I'm used to the ones up in the air. Well, Franklin thought he's going to have it. I'm right there. Let me catch. No, get out of the way. Get out of the way.
Isn't it amazing? Because, and you pitched some growing up, you get to professional baseball, and the pitcher who used to oftentimes be the best athlete on the field, you know, he's playing short when he's not pitching, batting third or fourth, right? He becomes a non-athlete when he turns professional. Get away. There's no possible way you can catch a pop-up.
And Franklin Morales, if he goes out to center field, he's one of the better defensive outfielders the Rockies have. If he wanted to be an outfielder, he could have been an outfielder.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And legitimately, when he first signed, just like with Cargo, there was talk whether or not to sign him as a position player, as an outfielder, because he could swing it as a kid, or to sign because he had that golden left arm. And Cargo had the option to pitch. 2-0, and it's fouled off by Bourne.
I still think Cargo at one point would love to get on the hill.
I think he'll talk himself onto the mound at one time.
No, he won't.
No,
he won't. No, he won't.
He wants to. In his dreams, he still wants to try it.
Well, you remember when Mitch Moreland got the pitch, you know, Cargo said, hey, if he got to throw, I get to throw.
Hey, he was legit, too.
Moreland was throwing 94.
Mitch Moreland was the hardest throwing position player I've ever seen on a mound in the big leagues. Three and one. Here's the other thing. When a pop-up is literally right on top of the mound, I personally would rather have the pitcher handle it because he's already elevated and he's not going to stumble running up the hill.
They should be able to catch just a pop-up right there.
And that's not a good walk. That pushes Aguilar to scoring position with 2 outs, and Cabrera comes up. That is the first walk allowed by Frankie. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Cleveland leading 4-2. Cabrera a single and a fly ball to right field. Cabrera hit a 2-run home run last night. Thought he had trouble catching up to the fastball, and he hit a breaking ball out. No swing as they check it out at first base with James Hoy.
I've seen Tulo many times in situations like this try to get that back pick. You know, you got a good hitter coming up, kind of a situation where the guy at second, 2 outs, he's going to try to extend. Tulo's the best at sneaking up behind guys and getting the back pick, but right now he's shaded more in that 6-hole because of how much he's throwing inside.
Fellas, you know what former lefty for the Rockies was really good at that, and he used an inside move, was another guy named Tito.
Brian Fuentes.
Brian Fuentes was terrific at that.
They used to always think it was a balk move too, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Tito down at fantasy camp this past February. How did our team do in fantasy camp?
Not well.
What are you talking about? We didn't have you, so we did great.
Spilly and I were.
You being me?
No, yeah, together.
No, I'm talking about Drew. We didn't have Drew on our team, so we were great. Yeah.
You were great socially. You weren't very good on the field, though. 2-0's in there, 2-1.
We had a fun time.
Yes.
And that's what fantasy camp's about.
I'd have brought the whole program down. You guys finally won a game, though.
Yes, we did.
It took Huey like 6 seasons to win a game.
That's okay. That's why I brought Spilly aboard. Two of us
equals a win. It was like a 4-inning win.
You guys were entertaining during the bull sessions. 2-1, and that's
it's gonna hurt.
Gonna take Cabrera to his backside.
This will draw the manager and the trainer out. Ow.
You know what? It missed. He has a guard there, and it missed it. Manager comes along for moral support. Trainer actually has a medical reason to be out there. The manager, I just want you to know that I care.
I feel your pain.
I don't even feel your pain. I just want you to know that I'm supposed to be out here and I care.
Yeah, can you hurry up? Let's go.
Two balls, two strikes on Asdrubal Cabrera. 2 on for the Indians in their half of the fourth. They lead it 4-2. And a ground ball to Kadire. And Michael successfully handles his first chance on the ground. And we'll go to the 5th inning. 4-2 Cleveland. Rosario will lead it off. It's 4-2 Cleveland in the top of the 5th inning. Our cold hard facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Average in interleague play this season, the Rockies are hitting .310 against the American League. That's better than everybody else. But there's been an extraordinary difference in what the Rockies have done on the road with the bats in the month of April versus what they've done on the road with the bats in the month of May. They've dropped off about a full run or so. And Huey, we discussed this at the top of the broadcast. 4 is the magic number. You get to 4 on the road, you're going to win your share of baseball games.
Well, that's why the Rockies were just a game under 500. They were 8-9 in the month of March and April, but they also hit 32 points higher during that time than they have in May. But when you hit that magic number of 4, I just think that's where the dividing line is, whether you have a chance to win, or if you're at 2 or 3, it just puts so much more pressure on your pitching staff to be too fine.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've been discussing. The Rockies averaging 3.1 in May, and to be honest, the reason they're averaging 3.1 is an 11 spot in Cincinnati, and that was a couple weeks ago, because on this road trip they've been averaging closer to 2 runs a game. It's been shut out twice on this trip.
You're right. That puts a lot of pressure on the starting pitcher. You give up 1 run.
And that was a quick at bat. 6 strikeouts now for Trevor Bauer. Rockies struck out a season high 15 times yesterday.
Now, when you face a guy similar to Trevor Bauer, what you try to do is you try to look for a ball up, because then he'll take you away from swinging at he's throwing a fork ball down in the zone. So when you look for the ball up, it also straightens you up so that the fastball, you can get on top of it and you won't end up firing away on the sliders down and away. But that's a good pitch right there.
DJ lined the ball off the right field wall for a double. That really got the Rockies going after Willeen had walked with 1 out.
We were talking in the commercial break with Trevor Bauer. He reminds you of Tim Lincecum in that regard, because he kind of patterns his delivery from him. But that was how you had to approach Lincecum, because he would try to get you to chase at that curveball or that split finger down in the dirt, because it came out of the hand looking like a strike.
I think as hitters, you get so used to a piece of hitting.
Get down, and it will. Base hit.
Take second
for DJ, and he thought about moving up as it got away momentarily from Murphy.
And as a hitter, when you're looking for the ball up, I'm looking above my belt. So typically when we're hitting, we're looking for the ball about knee high. And you can see their ball's up in the zone for DJ.
Look at that right there.
Perfect. That's almost above the belt. It allows him to stay up, stay through it a lot more than when you're looking down and away, especially on a guy like Bauer, who has a big fastball, has good off-speed pitches. You tend to fire away on pitches that you normally wouldn't, because of where your sights are set. And it's not a typical thing to do. You don't do it on every single guy, because not every guy has the stuff like Bauer.
Hit and run, and this ball is in the air to center field. Blackman skies out. Looked like that ball off the bat was hit better than the result.
Charlie's hit a lot of balls hard on this road trip, just right at people.
2 outs. That'll bring up Michael Kadire. Michael 1 for 2 in the game with Jeff Houston and the man in the high chair, Ryan Spilborghs. I'm Drew Goodman. 5th inning, Rockies trailing 4-2. Got to find some way to win a baseball game. And one of those periods where the game's not easy.
But I like the idea of hitting and running, even down by 2 runs. It's just the 5th inning, but create a hole, create something different for the mindset for the hitter. Take him out of what he's thinking and put it on the manager, saying, I'm going to call the hit and run here, and you just have to worry about trying to get the ball down on the ground. It didn't happen, but change things up.
Yeah, it's good for the guy's approach, because now I'm just thinking about hitting the baseball, putting it in play. I'm not thinking about, I want to drive the ball out of the ballpark. It simplifies your approach. I'm just going to see it and hit it. That's Manny Ramirez. I see it and hit it. I don't know what you're talking about.
But you can't do that if you're down 4 or 5 runs this late, because you don't want to run into maybe hit into a double play line out.
Easy play and foul ground for Aguilar, and the Rockies are done in the 5th inning. 4-2 Cleveland. Schedule is brought to you by RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. When the Rockies return home, Monday will be an off day, and then they'll welcome in the D-backs for 3 ball games. The Dodgers will follow, and then the Braves will come in for a 4-game set. Before the Rockies head out west again, they'll go to San Francisco and Los Angeles on that next road trip. Some Rockies fans in attendance here in Cleveland. In the 5th inning for the Indians, it'll be Michael Brantley, Ryan Rayburn, Yan Gomes. 3, 4, and 5 in what is a slightly different lineup today for Terry Francona. It's also our Toyota Talk inning. Get to some of your Twitter questions in a moment. Franklin Morales ready to go. And Brantley trying to bunt his way on. You know what? Smart play. Yeah. He sees Michael Kadire behind the bag. I'm sure he's a guy that studies hard. He realizes that Kadire hasn't played third in quite a while. Still a tight ball game. Yeah, try to reach.
That's the other thing. It's a 4-2 game. I mean, you're looking to get on base. Few home runs for Brantley, 9, but he has the speed to lay down a bunt.
That ball a little too tall, so it's 1-1 on Brantley. First question for Spilly. That would be you in the high chair. Did you see the same level of pitchers needing Tommy John surgery in the Japanese league? Very good question.
Great question. I did not personally, which led me to believe that I thought that they're. It looks like it's going to be foul. Led me to believe that how they play year-round is probably the better idea. But then American Sports Medical Institute comes out, Dr. James Andrews, and I don't know who the other guy, they did research and they say you have to give your arm a break. So you shouldn't be playing year-round.
Now, are they talking about the kids?
They're talking about, I think, players in general, because they even say, hey, players should avoid playing winter ball. And I was always a proponent, especially after being in Japan. I thought, hey, these guys, I don't see as many UCL tears.
1-2 and a soft line drive to second. Here's my thought on it. With all due respect to the Dr. Andrews of the world, and they know far more than I do, clearly, but based on watching some of the pitchers from the Far East and how frequently they throw, what you learned from observing over there and what we see here, I don't think anybody truly knows. Could you see guys that throw a ton in their, Daisuke throws every 2 innings in the bullpen, whether he's scheduled to come in or not. This ball on the ground at third. And nice pickup. Morneau taking care of his buddy Kadire, 2 outs. And then you have the other side of it, limit the amount of. I don't think they know. I don't think there's a consensus yet to determine, yes, this is the way you keep the ulnar collateral ligament intact.
And I've heard some arguments. Maybe, you look at the states. Let's see what states are where you're getting majority of these UCL tears. Are there players coming out of Arizona, California, Florida, Texas, places where baseball's played year-round? Are there more UCL tears out of there? I don't know. You look at Jose Fernandez. He was on the protocol. This is how you save an arm. He was on pitch count. He hurts his arm. Steven Strasburg, same. He hurts his arm. You look at the top 3 velocity throwers. They all have UCL tears.
2 things. I think for kids, I think you do need to limit the amount of innings that they throw and throughout the course of a season or maybe in a weekend. Sometimes I think they get overused. But 2, we have so much more information and so much more guidelines now, and you have more guys getting hurt now than ever before.
I just don't know.
Pitch counts. And now guys are blowing out right and left.
Well, there's a kid in Japan last year in it's called the Koshin Tournament. They have a high school baseball tournament. It is the biggest thing. It is March Madness of baseball. And they play 9 innings for a high school baseball game. And this pitcher, he's 16 years old. In order to win the Koshin, you have to win 6 games. He throws complete games, all 6 games, and he have 2 days off in between games. He threw 720 pitches over the course of those games. And that was okay.
It was like that high school kid. I forget where he was just recently, threw about 190 pitches.
Well, Daisuke Yu Darvish, a Japanese ace. Oh, that ball's hit well.
This ball's really hit well, but it's not going to go anywhere. Stubbs will have to retreat, in fact, and catch it below his waist. He started back and then came in. Yan Gomes hit it pretty well. 1, 2, 3, fifth inning. We move to the sixth. Middle of the Rockies lineup. Down 2. Indians 4, Rockies 2 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. It's time for you to tweet us your Rockies fan photos. Use the hashtag #COFanPhoto for an opportunity to have it seen during an upcoming ball game. Trevor Bauer completing his warm-up pitches. Rockies trailing by 2. Cargo, Tulo, Morneau. Here in the 6th, the Rockies, other than the 3rd inning, have had 1 base runner. That came with 1 out last inning when DJ LeMahieu singled. DJ's 2 for 2. The Rockies had 3 hits and a couple of runs in the 3rd. Other than that, Trevor Bauer's owned him. Bauer has struck out a half dozen. He's gotten Cargo twice. Shift is on for Gonzalez.
Not a bad time to lay down a bunt with Chisenhall playing back. He's acting like he's still a third baseman, but it'd be tough for him to get a ball.
This is a big inning for the Rockies right here. 6th inning, you got Cargo, Tulo, Morneau up. You don't do anything, you go quiet this inning. The big guys don't come back up until the 9th inning.
And then you start to see the nasty part of that,
yes,
that bullpen for Cleveland. Here's the 0-1. And quickly it's 0-2. Cargo leads the Rockies in 0-2 counts. It is amazing how frequently he is in that upside down situation.
If he was like David Murphy where he hits better in 2 strikes, I would mind it. But right now he's not. I'll take that.
Yeah, you know what? He used his hands there, didn't he?
I'll take that. Sometimes
cut way down on his swing.
That's what you want. Sometimes you have to do something like that where you remind yourself, hey, wait. I don't have to create so much. I can trust my hands.
It's a lifetime 300 hitter.
Kick save by Gomes right there.
Nobody hurry up after the ball.
Yeah, you know what? Chisenhall said.
Well, and you had the umpire too.
Let the bat boy get
it.
Yeah,
you can run all the way from the dugout.
Josh Outman, the former Rocky. Scott Atchison is on the right side. That's a tough breaking ball. It's off the plate. Good eye from Cargo. 1-2. 90 pitches in for Bauer. Here's something else. We were discussing the different philosophies to training pitchers. I want to ask you guys something here in a moment. 1-2. And Cargo has a trifecta. 7 strikeouts for Bauer. Not all that long ago, came up with the pitch count, and the magic number's 100. And it's not just the Rockies. Most clubs adhere to somewhere in that 100 pitch range, 105 maybe. You know, guys really pitching well, you'll see him pitch 110 or so. And, you know, Beckett had a no-hitter. He pitched 128 pitches. But 100 is such a convenient number. What makes it 100 as opposed to, you know, maybe it's 125. This is fouled off down the right field line. You know what I mean?
I think it's just with the advanced metrics, and not everybody likes to hear this, but they do keep track. After 100 pitches, what are the stats? What are the numbers? And you see, I mean, Walt has on his wall in the dugout right now, he has what Morales' numbers are going to be after he's gone over 100 pitches. What are hitters hitting after they get to 100 pitches? And if the numbers spike, they go from 250 to now they're hitting 340. There's your number. And it's not a general rule of thumb. I think every player is different, but 100 pitches is about average. Talking to LaTroy Hawkins, he says to me, hey, if I get over 25 pitches in an inning, my ball doesn't move as much as it does when I'm fresh.
One thing from Trevor Bauer today, other than the walk when he lost Rosario, remember he was way ahead of him and then he ended up losing him. And we've seen this consistently from the opposition on the road trip. They're not only strike one, but they're ahead in counts later on. They have pounded the strike zone.
7 strikeouts to boot for Trevor Bauer.
And this is a team, the Rockies, that have struck out the fewest amount of any team in the National League coming in. 15 times last night and 7 times here in 5 1/3. And another one. Middle of the order has been handled, and that's being kind. From Trevor Bauer. Between Cargo and Tulowitzki, they're 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts.
We got Tulo on the big breaking pitch back in the 3rd inning that locked him up for the looker, and then that time it was the changeup.
I think that was a changeup he spiked earlier. He wanted to throw earlier. Yeah, that's amazing to me that the Rockies are still leading baseball. They're the toughest team to strike out, but on this road trip, they have over 60 strikeouts in 8 games. It's crazy to think about.
But they were still leading by 32.
I know it.
Less strikeouts coming into the game today than the St. Louis Cardinals.
So as bad as this stretch has been, they're still the best. I mean, who's the worst at it? I mean, that would be. Nobody likes to watch strikeouts. Strikeouts, it's almost painful. It's like listening to nails on a chalkboard, but it's part of the game. I can't imagine what the worst team watching a strikeout after strikeout would look like.
It's the Mets in the National League.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Morneau. And on the road, after a pretty good April, as we've discussed, the Rockies have struggled so much with the bats. You have 3 regulars with really tough averages. Here's pitch to Morneau, and it's handled by Aguilar. I'll tell you about those averages when we come back. Rockies go in order in the 6th inning. They trail 4-2. Spilly, thanks for
guys.
Jumping on board. You'll get ready for the post-game show.
Yep.
And we will see you then.
Let's go.
That'll be
Magic
it.
zone.
4-2 Cleveland.
Energy.
The Tigers are at 31-20. The Twins fall to 25-28. Near the Indians 25-30. Mentioned this earlier. The Twins last year, who ended up being a wild card club, won 92 games. At one point they were 6 games beneath 500 well into the season, so they won't panic.
Let's see, the Royals had a shakeup of their staff yesterday.
Yeah, Dale Swaim is now the hitting coach.
Who's from the third base coach. Reassigned their hitting coach to the catching coach. Kind of did that last year when they brought George Brett along the second half of the season.
2 strikes on David Murphy. We're talking about numbers for the Rockies and the huge disparity, home road split, and it's been the same way. Good pitch. Same story for 22 years. But this year, at least right now, even more pronounced. Some prodigious off-the-chart numbers at Coors Field thus far. On the road, Cargo's hitting 189 coming in. Rosario 177. Even Tulowitzki's had a marvelous year, 242. That's coming in. So those averages have gone down for those 3 today. And the 3 most respectable road averages, Michael Kadire 270. Justin Morneau 286, of guys that play every day, and then Dickerson, who's a 50-60% participant, he was hitting 327 coming in on the road. And then you look at the home numbers. Tulo 521, Stubbs 460, Morneau 345. Cargo hitting 363 at home, Blackman 389. And that's fine. You got to beat people up at home. I still come back to you have to find a way, as it's 2-1 on Aguilar. You have to find a way to win 35-36 games on the road. And that's why we discussed that magic number of 4. Now they've had a bad month of May on the road, but if they can get back to where they're averaging 4 a game on the road as they did in April, they have a chance to win in the mid-30s.
And that's where, you come out on the road, and even if it's 35, but it's closer to that 50-50 split out on the road, because you're going to do the damage at home. And that's what you want. Now you have clubs talking about coming into Coors Field fearful already before they even get there of what's going to happen to their ERAs. What are these guys going to do? How many runs are they going to throw up? That's what you want to have happen, and they've reestablished that. Now it's finding that balance out on the road to make sure that you don't fall too far behind when you go out on the road. Well, out on the road, if you're in the Denver metro area, you can find the Rockies dugout stores are all over the place for all things Rockies, with the best selection of Rockies merchandise and tickets, as well as a limited edition exclusive collectible gifts with a purchase. 6 locations in Colorado. Rockies dugout stores.
Huey, nice job with that. Jim Wright's done with his conference. 1 out, 1 on here in the 6th inning. Here's Nick Massett throwing. Lonnie Chisenhall an RBI single back in the 2nd, and then Franklin was able to strike him out on a cutter away. And he goes away there and misses at 92. It's ball 1. How about Tanaka now 8-1. He's lost 1 game in the last 3 years.
To the Cubs. Cubs beat him. So do you have Toronto leading the American League East right now?
I do, only because I'm looking at the standings. They've been pretty balanced. They're solid at home, 16-13. They're very good out on the road, 16-11.
How about 3? Yes, that is correct. 3 Boston managers getting tossed in last night's game.
They went down the list.
Did you say, well, how don't they only have 1? Well, first one got thrown out, then Torey Lovullo took over. He got tossed, and then Brian Butterfield, the third base coach who was the third acting manager, he got tossed.
Greg Colbrin ended up running the team. I mean, he started the day as the equipment manager.
I have never heard of 3 managers being tossed before.
Walt got tossed yesterday for the first time in his career.
Took him 216 games.
I actually have to check. Did Walt get thrown out as a player?
Where's Dougie when you need him?
Dougie, if you're listening, and if you're wondering why Doug's not with us here in Cleveland, he was on the first 2 legs of his of the trip. Doug's wife is due any day.
Just make sure he's not trying to catch a flight to make it back in time.
And we wish Lindsay all the best with the baby and putting up with Doug. 2-2 on Chisenhall. And this ball turned on, driven to deep right, and it's got a hook foul. Fair ball, 2-run home run. And Cleveland has that 4-run lead again. Lonnie Chisenhall hooked it inside the foul poles, 325 down the right field line. His 3rd home run of the year. And he has driven in 3 this afternoon. The Indians lead it 6-2.
Second home run given up by Morales today, and the 5th in the last 2 starts for Franklin.
And that'll be all for Frankie.
Chisenhall wasn't sure if he was going to keep that fair. He kept the bat width from about a quarter to half of the way down the line. Snuck inside the foul pole 14 rows deep.
Franklin has given up 13 home runs this year. And the Indians enjoying a 6-2 advantage in the 6th inning. Lonnie Chisenhall has driven in 5 in the first 2 games of this series. Go to CFD Rodeo /Paisley for your chance to win tickets to see Brad Paisley with special guest Randy Houser and Leah Turner. That's Thursday, the 24th of July at Cheyenne Frontier Days. And the grand prize package has a whole bunch of good stuff. So rather than me lay it out for you, we'll tell you to go and check out the website at cfdrodeo.com /Paisley. You'll be glad you did. And this is off of Massett, no play. It'll be an infield hit for Aviles.
And then That fine line for a pitcher. Do I try to attempt to get the ball? Because if I do, and it goes off my glove, it's going to be a base hit. But if I let it go, Troy has it in his back pocket. He makes the play 6-3. Just a natural reaction for Nick Massett. Massett pitched in last night's ball game, just 8 pitches thrown, 7 for strikes, an inning clean. Just knowing how he can go out there every single day now if he needs to, and know that the arm's going to hold up.
I want to know on Michael Bourne. Michael's 0 for 2. He walked in the 4th inning. Well, Morales, Frankie, kind of a tenuous grip on the 5th starter spot. See what transpires going forward. This ball on the ground, and DJ somehow gets to it. Safe. Bourne runs well, and he beat the throw despite a wonderful effort from LeMahieu. So 2 infield hits, 1st and 2nd with 1 out, and Cabrera coming up.
As soon as Justin Morneau does not get this ball, you knew it was going to become a foot race back to the bag. DJ spins. He makes every effort to get Michael Bourne, but it helped Michael that he was hitting from the left side. And DJ couldn't have got rid of it any quicker, couldn't have done anything differently to get the speedy Bourne.
Cabrera 1 for 3. Massett needs a ball on the ground here. 1 out and 2 on. Nick has been throwing the ball well.
Well, even the 2 hits this inning, the one off his glove, if he lets it go, it's a 6-3, and then that was a seeing eye base hit.
They're mishit ground balls, which is what you want.
Well, you just need him to hit it at somebody with a little bit more pace.
How good a third baseman Ryan Zimmerman was with the Nationals. Well, you know, he's been out with an injury, and now on his rehab assignment, did you catch? They're going to have to play left field.
Well, they're worried about the throwing shoulder, making that throw over to first base.
Well, it's a combination of, you know, he's dropped down, he's had some issues, and also looks like he has the thing.
Well, when your arm hurts and you can't find that right arm slot, you start to take it in a different direction, and then it gets into your mind, oh, I can't let this go, or I've got to start it here. It's like the yips on the putting green. Uh-oh.
Well, it's a trade-off. You want his bat in the lineup. He's got great hands at third. If you do play him in left field, guys are going to run on him. Teams are going to run on him first to third, and obviously in scoring situations. Fouled off 2-2. Used to talk about the matchups between the Yankees and Red Sox. Still draw a great deal of attention, but now it's the Red Sox and Rays.
That's what led to all the ejections last night. Hit by pitches, but I think it goes back also to playing so many games within your division.
they're going to be, both benches will be worn before the game starts tonight. You got to figure. 2-2 and a good pitch, strikeout of Cabrera. 2 outs, and Nick Massett will set his sights on Michael Brantley.
Don't forget, next Purple Monday is June 9th. The first 5,000 fans will receive a Rockies purple t-shirt. Be sure to check out the ticket specials available, including green packs and value packs. June 9th. Atlanta Braves in town for the next Purple Monday.
Brantley's 0 for 3, riding a 15-game hitting streak, the longest in baseball right now. He's hit in 19 straight here in his home yard of Progressive Field. That's an all-time record. '20-year anniversary of Progressive
94.
Field. It's off the plate and a fair ball. Boy, that took a funny hop at the end. Morneau handles it, and Massett works out of it. 2 more runs for the Indians in the 6th on a 2-run home run from Lonnie Chisenhall against Franklin Morales. 6-2 Cleveland off to the 7th. Some guys hanging out at a Rockies game. There you go. Tweet your photo to hashtag COFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. It's brought to you by AT&T.
Having a nice time at the ballpark.
They were having a good time. Drew Stubbs, Corey Dickerson, Willeen Rosario, pitching change for Cleveland. Scott Atchison, veteran, is aboard. After Trevor Bauer went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, just 4 hits. He did walk 1. That's it. And he struck out 8. Strong performance from the 23-year-old former UCLA All-American. Juan Nicasio, Franklin Morales discussing things on the Rockies bench. First pitch from Atchison, misses ball 1.
Atchison spent all of last year with the New York Mets. Fastball's 92, 93. We'll cut it. Curveball.
And Stubbs hits it in the air to right. Murphy makes the catch, 1 out, and the Rockies have not had a base runner since a 1-out single in the 5th from LeMahieu. And the only other inning they put guys on was the inning they scored in the 3rd.
Yeah, for Scott Atchison, right there and right there. Those 2 numbers, 15 strikeouts, just 3 walks, and a 163 batting average against.
Strike on Dickerson. Down low, ball 1, 1-1. On the corner, 38-year-old Scott Atchison out of Denton, Texas. He went to TCU. They have a good program down there. And he was a senior side. He was kind of like you. This ball's driven well to right field, and it's got a chance to get out. It will. Skips over the top of the wall. And Corey Dickerson has hit his 6th home run of the year. It makes it 6-3.
I don't know if it have enough lift to get out.
Well, in 21 appearances, it's just the 4th time that Atchison has given up a run this year.
We talk about quick hands for a hitter. Well, I mean, he stayed back on that and waited, and then threw the hands at the baseball. I mean, he's coming hard out of the box, so he knows he's not sure if he got it. He's saying it's going to be off the wall, but it stayed up long enough and hit that top part of the outfield wall and jumped into the stands.
You know what he has? He has uncommon hand-eye coordination. And the reason I say that, all these guys, they're the best guys in the world. They all have great hand-eye coordination. But his is really unusual in that he's one of those guys that he can be a bad ball hitter. I'm not so sure that pitch he hit out was a strike.
Remember, was it last year that he hit that one that bounced?
He hit a double that bounced. Earlier on this road trip, Huey, he had a base hit on a ball that bounced. He's 2 for 2 in his career on balls that bounce.
Yeah,
single and a double.
It's not something that you would advise other people to do.
Being recruited by the West Indies to play cricket for them. And that's a base hit for Wheeling. Here come the Rockies, perhaps in the 7th. DJ LeMahieu's 2 for 2 coming up.
Go back to that swing of Corey Dickerson on the home run. Right at contact. You just see how he had to lower his body and his head position down this way to make contact with the ball. Skipped off the wall.
Estimated distance 382 feet. It's a good thing it didn't go 381. Rockies have a little life here after the Dickerson homer and the base hit by Wheeling. LeMahieu a single and a double. That's inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
DJ's probably had one of the best approaches today, but hitting everything to right field.
And that's a base hit. Aviles kind of moved toward the bag for some reason.
Yeah, he broke to the bag. I'm not sure what he was doing, because he took 2 strides going to second base, and that ball was hit where he vacated. Okay, so now he moves over this way right here. And then the ball's hit, and it'll go right back into this area. I mean, that was
the runner's not
really
going.
Weird. He wasn't going anywhere. But DJ will take it, yet first and second.
Well, you got a couple lefties in the next 3 hitters, so Atchison leaves. He'll have 3 straight hits. Outman will board when we return. Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. So here's the deal. The Rockies trailing 6-3 in the 7th. Stubbs flew out to begin. Then Dickerson hit a home run to right. Rosario a line drive to right. LeMahieu a hard ground ball through the right side. 2 on at the tying run at the plate, and Charlie Blackmon, and he'll face his teammate from the last couple of years, Josh Outman, whose velocity, Huey, is down about 3 miles an hour. He's been averaging under 90 miles an hour on his heater, and he used to be a consistent mid-90s guy.
And that's what made him tough, because he would throw that fastball and then come back with a hard snap.
High drive, deep right field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Blackmon has tied it up. Home run number 10 on the first delivery from Josh Outman. How large was that?
First home run that Josh Outman's given up to a lefty this year. And for Charlie, how about number 10 on the season? I mean, one pitch and Josh Outman's done. 81-mile-an-hour slider. And when you're not throwing a hard fastball, your slider's not going to be as hard. And Charlie just deposits that one into the seats.
And that is a new Rockies record also for a leadoff hitter. His 10th home run broke the record he shared with Dexter Fowler. Dexter hit 9 in the leadoff spot last year. Whole new day in Cleveland. It's the Rockies 6 and the Indians 6 now. Chuck Nasty, the man of the moment. One pitch from Josh Outman, and he changed everything.
Right out of the hand from Outman. Belt high. Charlie drops the back shoulder, elevates the baseball, says, I'm not worried about any wind. I'm strong. I'll cut that wind. And he cut it a long way out to right.
Brian Shaw is the new pitcher for Cleveland. League hitting just .207 against Shaw. Righties are, this is ridiculous, 5 for 55 against Shaw, and he's ahead 0-2 on Kadire. Lefties, though, hitting .378.
14 for 37 against Brian Shaw.
This is not the Nuggets coach.
First name spelled different.
In case you were confused.
Well, how about that for Charlie Blackmon? I mean, talk about an all-star first half. I mean, he's been money when he's needed it. 36 RBIs from the leadoff spot.
That's the second out as Kadire strikes out. Here comes Cargo. Now that you've finally caught Cleveland, it's been a very difficult road trip. Find a way to get over the hump, pull out a W here on a Saturday afternoon in Cleveland. Cargo's had a rough day. He struck out 3 times against Trevor Bauer.
I want to do it in this next inning or so, because the light standards, you're starting to see shadows that are going to creep in. You're always seeing some of them, but another half inning and this whole area right here will be covered in shade.
There's the 1-0. How disconcerting, 2-0, is it, Huey, that the ball in the middle passes over, a 6-8 foot area where it's
messes
in the
with
shade.
you. It messes with you. I always said I liked it better when the pitcher was in the sunlight, so you could see the ball coming out of the hand. But then when you start to make your swing, that's when you'll lose it in the shadows. Oh,
careful!
Be careful, but they had the ball just drop out of your hands.
You know what? That's okay. It's a $9 baseball. Don't lean over railings, please. Hate to be like Mother Hen, but
but you're right.
2-2. Cargo goes down again. In the inning, the Rockies score 4 times to get even. Dickerson a home run, and then with 2 men aboard, Charlie Blackmon ties it up.
And he ties it up for the Rockies. There's the center field cameras. That's what shows you the batter and the pitcher. I want to talk about Charlie Blackmon's defense. He's kind of having an all-star season, as Rockies fans know. Let's go back to last night when he makes the grab at center field, doing it textbook. And I talked to Charlie today. He said that before the game started, he went out and he checked the warning track, got his feel, got some steps, and made that catch last night. Guys, he is having some kind of a start this year.
Tremendous season. He's hitting .375 when he fires at the first pitch this year. Chuck Nasty has got the Rockies even, and now they hand the baseball to Adam Ottavino, and with that strike he works ahead of Ryan Rayburn 1 and 2. It's Rayburn, Gomes, Murphy.
Well, and for Adam, this amazing number of strikeouts in the 23 innings, almost a strikeout per inning, and I guarantee about 20 of them have come on that slider.
And he dismisses Ryan Rayburn very quickly.
Now for Adam, works quick. He likes to work ahead and then throw the frisbee slider, and he gets Rayburn to strike out on an 83-mile-an-hour pitch. Rayburn has to lift the arm, thinking it's going to be inside. Nope. Catches the corner. I'm going to finish that thought real quick on Charlie Blackmon and his defense. And that's what you have to do when you come to a new ballpark. See how high the wall is. Count your steps to the wall on the warning track. Is it 2 strides? Is it going to be 3? I mean, it's just like an infielder. They'll roll balls down the first and third base lines to see if is a ball going to stay fair. For an outfielder, and for here also at Progressive Field, the warning tracks are different. I mean, it's dirt out in center field, but coming down the lines towards the walls, it changes. Okay, this is all turf right through here, but this is dirt out here. So you also have to worry about that when you get over to that area, what you can slide on and what you can't.
This ball's well hit to right, but tracked down nicely by Blackmon. 2 outs. David Murphy will come up. David is 1 for 3. We thank you for tweeting us your questions during Toyota Talk in the 5th. For more answers, you know the drill. Visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRN. Ottavino, boy, that is a dirty slider.
That's what makes him tough.
It's got you know, 14 inches of tilt on it also. And you said this many times, Huey. It's not like you go, all right, we'll just sit on that. He throws 94. That was 95 right there with sink.
Right, and that's why you see the defensive swings for some of these hitters, because they don't know what to look for. Do I look for that 95? Because if I don't, I can't hit it. I still think it goes back to you've got to pick one pitch, just stay with that approach, you're at bat, and see what happens.
And that was a real defensive swing again. Another dominant inning from Adam Ottavino. Rockies will try to take the lead in the 8th. Back. Rockies trailed 4-0 and 6-2. No longer. Last inning, they got a 4 spot. Corey Dickerson made it 6-3 with his 6th home run of the year. And then a few minutes later, 2 aboard, Josh Outman. First pitch to Charlie Blackmon, and he hit it out. 3-run jack. And the Rockies all even as they come to bat here in the 8th inning. Tulowitzki will lead off against Brian Shaw. And that pitch is inside, ball 1. Tulowitzki 0 for 3, a couple of punch outs. Cargo with the golden sombrero. It's the 5th time in his career he has struck out 4 times in a game. And that slider for a strike. It's 1-1. One and two. Looking at 2 guys with really good sliders right now.
Yeah.
Ottavino and Shaw. 2nd inning of work for Shaw.
That's why you're seeing some bad swings against them.
Again, this is much more of an American League deal. A setup guy throwing multiple innings. Don't see that much in the National League.
We have to worry about pinch hitting too much.
One out. And that'll bring up Justin Morneau. If you have damage to your windshield, call SafeLight 303-287-5000 online at safelight.com.
This setup right now is, I think, one of the worst for a hitter, where the pitcher is in the shadows and you're in the sunlight, because that first couple feet out of the hand, that's where you start to pick up the baseball. And it's harder to do when it's coming out and you're trying to look for rotation and spin.
0-1 on Morneau. What's going on?
I have no idea. I think Bob thought somebody was barking from the dugout. Like, wait a second, there's nobody yelling at you from the Rockies dugout.
And if he's looking in the crowd, you know, I don't know why Indian fans would be upset. I mean, Tulowitzki was retired.
But the pitch was called a strike.
And the last pitch was called a strike. That's 0-2 on Morneau. Brian Shaw, like Troy Tulowitzki, is a Long Beach State product. His first year there was the year that Troy was drafted by the Rockies.
Long Beach won their first regional game yesterday. There's some upsets. Florida lost. Florida State lost. 2 number 1 seeds.
Great time of year with the College World Series. And tonight, or excuse me, is it tonight? Yeah, Colorado Mesa
7
play
o'clock
for the D2 National Championship.
All fans, you're going to want to get to the ballpark early on Sunday, June 8th, as the first 15,000 will receive a Sasquatch bobblehead gnome. That's courtesy of our good friends Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Arrive early. Gates will open 2 hours prior to game time. You don't want to miss it. The Sasquatch bobblehead gnome.
Two outs. Drew Stubbs coming up. You're going to be, how many are you going to try to take home? 10, 12?
Well, I just want to make sure I have the full collection at the end of the year.
We have them up in the booth, don't we?
Well, I know, but I don't want to take them away from Dougie.
That's inside. It's a strike, 1-1. Rockies struck out 15 times, a season high last night. They've struck out 10 times this afternoon. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Rockies, 6 runs, 10 hits, and an error for Cleveland. Bob, I don't know what I have no idea what the conversation's about. Bob has a well-respected strike zone. He's a good ball strikes umpire.
Yeah, I don't understand. That was so random to see him walk all the way over there and not really do anything and then walk back.
2-2. Our director Mike Fox just showed a great overhead of the shadows that you have been discussing, and they are as pronounced right now as they've been all day. That's really difficult for a hitter. Out of the shadows, sunlight, then more shadows.
And the slider's tough enough to hit. Put that on top of it, it's almost unhittable then.
Inside corner, strike 3 on Stubbs. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning, tied at 6. Looked a little inside. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston, Mark Stout, Ryan Spilborghs from Cleveland, Ohio. From parks and pools to wilderness and trails, every single Colorado lottery game you buy helps fund the places Colorado plays. Thank you. Pinch hitter for Jesus Aguilar is Jason Kipnis. And Ottavino's out on the mound, but now Walt White's going to go and get him.
We have a couple left-handers in a row with Kipnis being announced. And Chisenhall following him, so you bring in Rex Brothers.
Get 40% off your online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code ROXWIN at papajohns.com. So Rex Brothers has been summoned from the bullpen. Jason Kipnis is pinch hitting for Jesus Aguilar. And Brothers this year, league hitting .212 against him, but lefties are hitting better against Rex, surprisingly, than righties.
Yeah, righties 180 average against. So three home runs total, 2 to left-handers, 1 to a right-hander. He has 2 lefties to work with in Kipnis and Lonnie Chisenhall.
The strange thing about Chisenhall, though, is he's batting .538 against lefties. He's 7 for 13. Not a huge sample size, but he's had a lot of success this year.
Well, he had a home run earlier in the game for Morales.
Yeah, was left on left. You're right. So those numbers a little bit better. And he also had an RBI single. So against lefties, he's now hitting .500. He's 8 for 16.
This has
Check
been
at 9 for 16. He's hitting better than that. Can't add.
This has been one of the problems for Rex this year. When he's come in, he's not pitching ahead. We've seen, you talk about Cargo, seems like he's behind 0-2. Well, it seems like Rex is behind 2-0, 3-0 a lot this year.
And that honestly is why, and this had been talked about during the offseason after the acquisition of Hawkins, that initially he would close, but he would kind of prep Rex for a role that he held late last year. And that's the 9th inning role, but he's not throwing enough strikes to take over in the 9th inning, and he just walked Jason Kipnis. And pitches that aren't close. So now you have the go-ahead run on, and Chisenhall coming up. He's got plenty of confidence, as we discussed, hitting against lefties.
You can kind of see from the 4th strike zone a moment ago where those pitches were. Chisenhall, his numbers at especially 7th inning or later, well over 400.
He lays down a bunt, and one play for Kadire, and that's to first. 5-3 on the sac bunt. Kipnis at second.
Well, Michael at third knew that they were probably laid down a bunt, so he was charging as that pitch was being delivered to the plate. He sees him square around, fields the ball, gathers his feet, strong throw to first base like he's done that before, and he has.
It's one of those times also that your catcher has to get up the line and cover third.
You rotate because the shortstop goes to second base. The second baseman's running over to first.
Mike Aviles, who hit a 3-run home run in the second. He also has an infield hit. He's 2 for 3. First start in the series for the veteran from Concordia College. Grew up in Middletown, New York. That's a Concordia. In New York, you're looking at me, so where's that?
Well, there's a Concordia in Nebraska.
New Rochelle, New York. Here's the 1-0. Top of the zone, 1-1.
Clipped the top of the 4th strike zone. Aviles thought it was high.
Usually mask high is right on the borderline, unless you're talking about a guy Giancarlo Stanton's size. That was down at 95. Good pitch from Rex, and it's 1-2.
And now you have Aviles shaking his head, having to step out. Now you don't have to throw a strike because you put it into the hitter's mind and, well, the umpire's going to call something close. I've got to protect. So you could take it even 3 or 4 inches off the plate.
That's just foul. Wow. Line drive, right field, and that's going to bring in the go-ahead run. Kipnis scores. Mike Aviles has a 4 RBI day, and the Indians lead 7-6. And that leadoff walk comes back to hurt Rex Brothers.
Talk about just putting the ball in play. Don't take an empty at bat. That's what Aviles does here. But another pitch that was up in the zone. It's an easy pitch to elevate to the opposite field. And that's what Aviles does. And even with the ball being in the air, Kipnis didn't get a good read at second base. He had to wait to make sure that ball dropped down. But then scored when the throw was offline.
Should be too, even with Bourne running. Nicely done. But the Rockies now go to the 9th inning, trailing once again. 7-6, the Indians lead. Hurt Rex Brothers in the Rockies. Cleveland producing the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 8th. 7-6 as we go to the 9th. Dickerson, Rosario, LeMahieu scheduled against Cody Allen. But first we go to Denver. Check in again with Jenny. All right, guys, thanks very much. Some changes to tell you about for Cleveland. Cody Allen, first and foremost, is on the mound. He was real tough last night. Jason Kipnis at his everyday position, second. Mike Aviles, who is at second, goes to third. Lonnie Chisenhall, who is at third, goes to first. Rockies trying to extend play, and they have the most productive part of the lineup in this game up. 5 of the Rockies' 6 runs have come out of the bottom portion of the lineup. Dickerson 1 for 3. He had a home run in that 4-run 7th inning. Rosario's been on twice and scored 2 runs. As you look at the numbers for Allen, got the save last night, and then LeMahieu's 3 for 3.
Yeah, 5 out of the 8 hits have come from these 3 guys. But for Cody Allen, 2 for 3 and save chances. He had his second save last night. Very clean inning, 12 pitches, 2 punch outs in an inning's worth of work, and a hard thrower is Cody Allen. 97 on the first pitch.
Outside at 97, it's 1-1. You know, Cody Allen was in the 2011 draft. He was one of the first couple of players to get to the big leagues out of that entire draft. He was a 23rd round pick.
How does he fall that far throwing this hard? Follow every Rockies game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get instant replay, score, stats, audio, and more. MLB.com at bat 2014.
What an arm this kid has. 97, 98, and it's easy heat. He's out of Orlando, Florida. Not a huge guy, compact build, 6'1", 210 pounds. 2-2. And it's rear back and fire.
Went to the University of Central Florida for 2 years, so you know he was scouted down there in the Florida region. It was not like he's, no disrespect, but coming out of North Dakota or somewhere like that.
The Indians were persistent. They took him in 2010 in the 16th round. He didn't sign, and then they got him in the 23rd round the next year. 3-2. Ball 4. So a leadoff walk in a 7-6 game. See if the Rockies can build a run as the Indians did last inning. Let's check the CenturyLink link to what's next. Here's tomorrow's starters. Final game of the road trip for the Rockies. Jhoulys Chacín looking for his first victory of 2014. And he'll be opposed by Josh Tomlin, who's 3-2 with a solid 3.04 ERA. Tomorrow we're on with the pregame show at 10:30 in the morning back home. Here's Tomlin.
And the one thing for Cody Allen, not much experience so as a closer. John Axford had been their guy. They moved him out, put him back in, moved him out again. And giving Allen a chance to run with this and see how it turns out, but it's always harder for a youngster when he gets that first taste, and how does he handle the pressure? 3 outs are the toughest to get.
'97 on the knuckles, 2-0, and Lonnie Chisenhall runs in to give him a pat on the back. 25-year-old Cody Allen. Last year, he was in 77 games. That was the second most in the American League. He was 6-1 with a 2.43 ERA, punched out 88 in 70 innings. 2-0 for the baby bull, and he pops it up. Kipnis makes the catch, 1 out, and that'll bring up LeMahieu. Auto glass damage, call SafeLight 303-287-5000. Go online to safelight.com if you prefer. DJ a double, a single, and a single. 2 runs scored this afternoon. Charlie Blackmon is on deck.
Smart from DJ. Don't get locked up. Don't wait too long for the pitcher to deliver the baseball.
DJ, and this one may be 2. It will be ball game over. Well, the Rockies were down by 4 runs twice. They rallied to get even, but they give up a run in the bottom of the 8th, and they lose 7-6 this afternoon on a gorgeous day in Cleveland. And the Rockies have lost the first 2 of this 3-game set against the Indians, and they fall to 2-6 on this 9-game road trip. And a lot of hung heads again as the Rockies will file out of that dugout. They battled back only to fall short. The Rockies are now 28-27. The Indians have won 2 straight. They're 27-30. Brian Shaw gets the victory. Cody Allen gets the save. Rex Brothers takes the loss. 7-6 the final. The Indians over the Rockies. Let's go to Jenny and Sully back in our Denver studios. Jenny, all yours.